This doesn't have a name either, and actually the thing that I wrote originally was like twice as long as this, but I realised it was too long to do on a night, so cut it down. Anyway. Nothing but the pure, blinding blizzard could be seen. A ferocious flow of falling flakes attempted to throw our two travellers, who had nothing but the jittering wind direction to guide their journey. At points, they were forced to face the frantic flurry just to find some faint bearing to continue forward. Sometimes they were flustered, thrown to following these winds instead of fighting them. For long, they hadn't spoken. Even if they had tried to raise their voices, the heavy gusts would carry it away for many years. And so, slightly bitter, hungry, and frankly bored, they moved on. Through the strands of snow, a dark grey blur emerged from the white before them. Without referral, both knew that they had found something they needed desperately: shelter. Despite their constant pace, their vigour had revitalised, striking a strong determination to reach whatever lay ahead. Neither one debated whether this trip was worthwhile or indeed at all necessary. After some time, the only thought you have is this uncomfortable journey and the desires associated with it. And now those desires were in sight. Fortunately, it wasn't difficult to find an opening. Following the gushing winds proved an effective tactic. They both clambered through a small opening as the gales rushed alongside them inside. Broken windows, ripped aged pages, and rotting wooden beams populated this entrance aisle. Our travellers continued with a rather poor impression. At points, there was a thought or two of whether it would be easier to wait in this crammed space. But as they meandered around the debris, more of the building could be seen. It would be an awful waste of a trip to turn back now. Emerging from rubble, they came across a large expanse filled with lane after lane of shelves, which in turn were filled with many trinkets of varying sizes, shapes, colours, and age, though by far the most seen were books. They scattered everywhere, to above their cases to the floor itself, nestling in piles and fallen towers. So much ancient knowledge hidden to the world. At last they were inside, shielded from the weather, ready to simply lay down and enjoy the tranquility of this quiet place. Both couldn't help but gaze around, eyes gawking with wonder and awe. It seemed ever so strange something as giant as this would be left to decay. Its silence haunting, deafened in its death. Though the silence finally gave them the opportunity to speak. Ooh, a mask! The younger traveller bolted to a small collection of party attire, of which a mask with the ornate and intricate design of golds and whites sat dusty and tired upon it all. Without any thought, she snatched it and covered her own orange and white freckled face. Her brown jacket and satchel seemed so bland next to it, yet managed to perfectly complement it. Her hands couldn't control her excitement and kept molesting the piece, so enticed with the simple beauty of it. In some ways, it was like she felt like herself. The older one gave in to the charm. At first, she wanted a short rest to then explore, but even her vibrant purples and discovering thoughts seemed insipid against the fancy visor. Hey, an old gramophone, and a selection of records too. Before long, they were both dancing around these abandoned halls, flowing through each sliver of open space and weaving around each forgotten antique. With each passing, one would obtain a new piece of clothing, until both were prancing around doused in lavish furs, extravagant hats, and flamboyant accessories, all in tune with the music that echoed around them. Imagine that, a private masquerade for two, at the top of the world, in a place no one knows. Something like this seems nothing short of magic.